I want to tell you about a friend of mine. His name is John DeKoven. He produces something called Bunjo's Comedy Club. He's a stand-up comedian, and he brings comedians together for these shows. Now, some of the comedians are very good, some of them are mediocre, many of them are pretty poor, like with any comedy club you go to. The interesting thing, though, is that John always kicks off the program by getting up in front of the audience, of course, and welcoming everybody. And he does something that the rest of the comics don't seem to really take a page from, which they should. And that is that John engages the audience. He starts talking to people, not making fun of them like comedians are so often prone to do. What John does is simply interact with them. He starts to talk to them. He gets them laughing. And the lesson there that so many of his comics don't pick up is audience engagement. They tend to go up there as performers, which they are, that's understood. But instead of going up there, taking the stage and then simply deciding, I need to go ahead and perform for all these people here, and it's a one-way engagement. Them looking up at me and me giving them a lot of funny lines and a lot of presumably good jokes. What John does is he engages the audience. Why? His comics don't pick up on this and understand that there's a level of intimacy that is created by working with the people in the audience, by actually talking not at them, but with them. His comics just haven't picked up on this, and it's one of those lessons that's right in front of people's faces every time John does a show, and yet it's a lesson that just doesn't get picked up. That's a lesson for public speakers as well. Anytime we get up in front of an audience and we're going to speak, we want to think in terms of, how do I engage that audience? We tend to think, provide fascinating information, facts and figures, be funny or what have you. But audience engagement, one of the first things that we can do in those terms is simply ask the audience a question. Start talking to people in the audience. Reference somebody who we had a little bit of interaction with, who the audience knows. Maybe it's the producer of the event or whatever, making reference to that person. So often we don't do that. If you ever get a chance to go to a Bunjo's Comedy Club production, watch John DeKoven at work. He's a personal friend, I acknowledge that, but the fact of the matter is, he really shows how it's done, and it's a lesson not only comics, but public speakers fail to learn. I'm Mike Consol. You can learn more at my website, mikeconsol.com. Thanks for watching.